After the death of Adam, peace be upon him, his son Seth took over the governance of the earth with justice and goodness. However, corruption spread in the plains among the people of Cain, the son of Adam, and crimes, including murder, began to emerge. They started killing each other and also killed others from the clans that came from the mountains, who were descendants of Adam. Thus, corruption became widespread. The children of Adam began to mix with the disobedient descendants of Cain. This is mentioned in the narration of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, when he recited the words of Allah Almighty. And do not display yourselves as was the display of the former times of ignorance. He explained that there were two groups of the descendants of Adam, meaning the people of Cain, and those who remained with Adam from his offspring. One group inhabited the plains, and the other inhabited the mountains. The men of the mountains were handsome, while the women were said to be less attractive. In contrast, the women of the plains were beautiful, while the men were less so. Satan approached a man from the plains in the form of a young boy and started working with the people of Cain. This boy, Satan, began to teach them musical instruments and songs, and he produced a sound like that of the shepherds, which the people had never heard before. As this sound reached those around them, meaning the voices of songs started to reach the people in the mountains, they began to listen and established a festival to gather together each year. On the day of the festival, the women would adorn themselves for the men. The men of the mountains started to admire the beauty of the women, which tempted them. Some men from the mountains began to sneak down into the plains. According to the law of Seth, son of Adam, mixing between the sons and daughters of Cain was prohibited. However, one man from the mountains attacked them during their festival, saw the women and their beauty, and returned to inform his companions. They all desired to gaze upon them, so they began to approach them and descended upon them while they were adorned on the day of the festival, which led to the emergence of immorality, specifically adultery, marking the beginning of this practice. Ibn Abbas stated that this explains the words of Allah Almighty. And do not display yourselves as was the display of the former times of ignorance. The followers of Seth diminished while the followers of Cain increased, until the Prophet Idris, peace be upon him, emerged, a descendant of Seth. Idris was born during the lifetime of Adam and experienced 120 years of Adam's life. Allah chose Idris as a prophet and messenger after the deaths of Adam and Seth. According to traditions, he was the first prophet after Adam and Seth, and he was the first to use a pen and to spread writing among the people. As narrated by Ibn Kathir, Idris was of tall stature, handsome visage, with a thick beard, appealing in demeanor, broad-shouldered and large-boned, yet lean with little flesh. His eyes were bright and kohl-lined. He was deliberate in his speech, often silent, calm in his demeanor, and when he walked, he often looked down at the ground. He was thoughtful and contemplative of God's creation, and he exhibited sadness. When he was troubled, he became intense and would gesture with his fingers while speaking. Idris, peace be upon him, adhered to the law of his grandfather Seth, continuously developing it as a messenger commanded by Allah. When he witnessed the rapid spread of corruption and the oppression of the righteous believers, he then legislated jihad, thus becoming the first to fight in the cause of Allah and the first to gain spoils and captives for his sake. Idris raised an army of cavalry and infantry and attacked the people of Cain, defeating them. This marked the beginning of battles between truth and falsehood, and between good and evil. Not much is mentioned about Idris, peace be upon him, but Allah referred to him in his book in Surah Maryam. And mention in the book Idris. Indeed, he was a Siddiqah, truthful prophet. And we raised him to a high station. In a noble hadith, it is reported that the soul of Idris was taken in the fourth heaven after he ascended with one of the angels. Ibn Jarir narrated an interpretation of this verse, recounting that Yunus bin Abdul A'la told him that Ibn Wahab related to him from Jarir bin Hazim, from Sulaiman al-A'mash, from Shumayr bin Atiyah, from Hilal bin Yasaf, who stated that Ibn Abbas asked Ka'b while he was present, "What does Allah mean when he says, 'And we raised him to a high station'?" Ka'b responded, "As for Idris, Allah revealed to him that every day I will elevate you with the deed of all the children of Adam. So he wished to perform more good deeds. An angel came to him as a friend and said, 'Allah revealed to me such and such, so speak to the angel of death to delay me until I can perform more.' The angel carried him between his wings until he ascended to the heavens. When he reached the fourth heaven, he was met by the angel of death descending. He spoke to the angel of death about what Idris had requested. The angel of death said, 'And where is Idris's?' The angel replied, 'He is on my back.' The angel of death said, 'How strange! I was commanded to take the soul of Idris in the fourth heaven. I kept saying, how could I take his soul in the fourth heaven while he is on earth?' So he took his soul there. Idris, peace be upon him, died, and no prophet was sent after him. He left humanity to follow the laws of Seth, Idris, and Adam, while corruption spread further, and the people increased in their wickedness. However, they remained on monotheism and did not resort to idol worship, maintaining their monotheism for 1,000 years after the death of Adam, peace be upon him, as stated by Allah Almighty. Indeed, the people were of one religion. This continued until the people began to worship idols,